Right, so it's great to say we are joined by Nick from Everyone Says Hi. How you doing?
Very good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. So the tour kicked off yesterday in Bristol. How was that? The opening night?
I was just nodding then and I realised nodding doesn't work on radio.
It's great audio. Nice.
I'll stop nodding. It was great. Last night it was brilliant actually because it's like our first tour. I've done a lot of touring in the past and then you sort of think, oh, who's going to come and everything. And so when we got on stage, there was a big noise and lots of people and I was really happy. It was like, I was nervous until about 10 seconds before stage.
And you could hear the people.
Yeah, it was good. So it wasn't that many, but it's just, small beginnings.
Well, yeah, because we're at Heartbreakers today, which is one of the smaller venues. I think possibly the smallest venue in Southampton, but it's a lovely room.
I like it.
When it gets going, it's a great little space. But yeah, because obviously you said you obviously toured immensely with other bands. Obviously, the main thing obviously was Kaiser Chiefs, obviously some while ago now. Actually.
Yeah.
Over a decade ago since.
Yeah, I left over a decade ago, yeah.
But I just quickly, I was like, when obviously, because I've read a lot of interviews, you said everything was, amicable and everything like that. But like, how would you go about, it's almost like breaking up with like 4 or 5 people at once, isn't it? Like, how that's it's not just the chat. Yeah, I don't think this is working out for us. Bye, love. It's like, oh, there's 4 of you. Oh, sorry, guys.
It is odd, yeah. No, it was a funny old time. It wasn't the best, but it was. I mean, we were on tour for a year, so we had this year tour, and it kind of all started at the beginning of that. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was a bit awkward.
So, because I also read, obviously, one of the main reason was you just wanted, obviously, touring life is hectic for a lot of people, especially when you're that sort of size band, like you were going everywhere around the world, and you wanted to focus more on like the studio side of things. So is that because then obviously you spent a lot of time just doing that and working with other artists. So that was like the main reason for that was obviously because it's a little bit more structured. If you're at a studio, obviously you can go home.
It was just it was just a time in my life where I just desperately needed to not be. I had been on tour for it's got to be 8 years, and every time you wrote an album, it would get less love and you'd be signing up for another year and a half on the road, and I was like, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, because
at the beginning, when you get the first album, the second album, great reviews, great reception, everything, and then the third album sort of goes down a bit, and the fourth album's and it's like you're getting lots of hate, and you're just like, what am I doing this for? I just want to try something else. So the studio was great. Yeah,
because you've worked with a lot of amazing artists as well, and like one that really sprung out for me was You Me at 6.
Oh wow, cool, yeah.
They're one of my favourite bands.
Brilliant. Yeah, we did a few things. Yeah, we were just in my house making some songs. And then there was one really good one, wasn't there, that came out as a single. I can't remember what it's called.
Which album? Which decade?
The latest album.
Latest album. Okay. Single.
Truth to get, it's not the latest album. It's the one before.
Yeah. Beautiful Way.
Beautiful Way, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
We covered that one. Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah, I like that one.
I mean, terrible that we couldn't remember the name.
I'm terrible like that. I like to do. See, the thing is, when you're doing songwriting sessions with people, it's very much like you do it and then it comes out and it lives its life without you, which is fine. That's how it is. And then, but when it's your own stuff, you play it every night, you hear it every day, you rehearse it and all that, and it just goes around with you.
See, is it easier writing for somebody else than it is for yourself? Because so it's not.
I'm shaking my head. It's easier to write for yourself because when you're writing with somebody else, you're trying to second guess, filtering through their brain. And so everything you suggest, you sort of thinking there's a filter there in front of you. You think, I hope they like this. I hope this gets them going. And then, and sometimes you come up with a really great bit that really I personally will love. And then the other person's like, let's move on. I go, oh, no, you're wrong. Anyway, so when you're writing for yourself, you just take the best bits and just go with it.
Yeah. So do you kind of go with like a preconception when you're working with, You Me at 6 or someone like that, or George Ezra? You kind of think, well, this is what he sounded like before. This is what I need to keep that vibe going.
Yeah, there's a bit of that, but you can't go too far out of the way. But I always tried to take it somewhere different. I don't think it was that good because people don't, especially record labels, aren't that interested in being different. So they like stuff that's safety. Safety first.
So, because I know a lot of people have written songs, and quite famously, I think Ed Sheeran wrote Shape of You for Rihanna. It was meant to be, but then he kept it for himself.
No, I didn't know.
I think that's what I've heard before. So is there any songs that maybe you wrote for somebody else that then you've used now, or actually with your solo stuff, or now with Everyone Says Hi?
Yeah. I wrote that song on the same side with Justin Parker, who is one of my best friends, and he wrote some amazing songs like Video Games, which is obviously one of the best songs ever. and we wrote on the same side for Liam Gallagher.
Oh, really?
And he turned it down, and then I just held on to it for a bit, and it was so perfect for Liam, and we were like, oh, it's so annoying, but then we did a good version of it.
Yeah, really cool writing for Liam. So in terms of songwriting, who is the person that you, when maybe asked to write for, that you like most like, they want me to go write with them? Like the one that kind of gave you the biggest shock and you're like...
I think George Ezra, actually.
Yeah?
But the one I really want to write with is Harry Styles. I keep saying that in interviews, hoping it's going to...
manifest itself.
Yeah.
I could see that though, because I think he's got that alternative edge to him.
Yeah, it's sort of an artist edge, I guess you'd say, as opposed to just like a product, wasn't it?
And especially I think there's definitely, what was his first single?
Sign of the Times.
Sign of the Time. That had massive Bowie vibes.
Yeah, it did.
And obviously, Everyone Says Hi.
Yeah.
I love the fact this was an accident as well. The name of the band is a Bowie song, but I
didn't know. Yeah,
I love that.
And then Pete, who's the bass player, he used to be in a band called, The Kooks, right? And that's also a Bowie song. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
I mean, you've got to love Bowie.
I do love Bowie.
He's one of the best.
Yeah.
With Bowie, because I know you said in an interview, you didn't know it was a single until you actually typed into Spotify.
Yeah,
I love the way that's the way you go, right, I've got a good band name.
Oh, yeah.
How to check it out? Spotify.
Well, if you're like me and you do come up with band names a lot and then you type them in, they've all gone.
What's your favourite band name that you thought was like, that's great, and then you couldn't use because somebody was...
I'd have to look at my phone if I could find it. I've got a list of band names, yeah. Yeah, this is one the other day that I thought of for a death metal band, and it had gone.
Oh, really?
Youth in Asia.
Yes.
And it's gone. And it's also a Megadeth album.
Yeah.
Youth in Asia.
I mean, to be fair, for a metal band, that's a very strong name.
Yeah, it's just a bit horrible, isn't it?
But it's a good one for them.
I'll find one good one, then we'll move on. Guilty Milk.
Ooh.
It's not a good one.
There's a lot of milk-based bands at the moment, though. We've got Hot Milk, and there was another band.
Guilty Milk?
Yeah, Guilty Milk now.
Guilty Milk sounds awful, doesn't it?
Can you imagine that being chanted? Guilty Milk.
Yeah.
Guilty Milk. That's what you got to think. You want the 3-syllable chant, don't
Guilty you? Milk. It could work, Guilty Milk could be a band.
Sort of maybe grunge-esque.
Yeah.
I think that could work. We'll just start a band.
Okay, Guilty Milk. Hi, I'm Nick from Guilty Milk. I like it now. Okay.
So, obviously,
I like this, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Obviously, Kaiser Chiefs, and then you did some solo stuff, and then obviously now we have Everyone Says Hi.
Yeah.
What made this sort of section of your career that you were like, this is more than just a solo project now? You wanted to bring it in as a band rather than just going, I could still do this solo and just get some session guys in. Yeah,
well, I did think of it as a solo album at first. The first song I wrote was solo, and then even when we went into the studio, I called everyone from when we'd done a solo tour, and everyone came back, and bass player changed, and Pete came in because he was like, because I'd known him forever, and he was like, let's do some music. Okay, well, I'm doing this. Do you want to be on this? He said, yeah. Okay, but we just kept on. You just kept getting better every time somebody came into the room, like to the studio and played on it. And it just gradually became more than just me, really. I felt weird just saying it's me. It was like, it's everyone now. Yeah. So it kind of organically grew into the band rather than you going, this is defined band music now. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is really good though. I like being in a band, and I realized how much I like being in a band. And I think when you are a solo, it doesn't feel entirely right. Is it easier when you've got a band to kind of bounce ideas off when it comes to writing as well? Because when it's solo and you're just like, well, I think it's good, screw everyone else. And then... I did that for my first album. That was a surprise, that album, really. I just decided to do it, and it didn't take me very long. I just did it very quick and recorded it, and it was out within a sort of 6 to 9 months or something from beginning to being out, which is pretty quick. Yeah, I just threw that out. This one definitely feels a bit more cohesive. Yeah, more of a defined project. Yeah. It's, got everyone involved. Yeah, and this time's different. We've got a record label, we've got management and all that, and I didn't really have that in the first one. So obviously touring was one of the reasons why you wanted to get out of the sort of game 10 years ago. Is that still a conscious thing in your mind going, well, we could do a couple of dates, this is... No, I like it now. You just change your mind, don't you? And but also, it was crazy in those days because you'd go on a tour and it wouldn't end. Yeah. Another one would get tagged on to the end of it. And then you never ever came home and unpacked your suitcase. That doesn't even exist now for Kaiser Chiefs. I mean, they're not doing that now. They're just, they do a tour once or twice a year, do some summer festivals, and that's it. Yeah.
It's a little bit more subdued.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of the pattern with everyone really these days. Yeah, I think someone like, I don't know, it's when it gets out of your control, you just have to go with it. You roll with it. But I think, I don't know, we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
But I'm big enough now to say I don't want to do something.
Yeah. And also, 'cause like you said, like you kind of lost the enjoyment from it. So it was, I think, especially with music, any sort of creative thing, if you've lost that sort of initial spark,
That's true.
It becomes, it sounds stupid, it becomes a job, but then it becomes, but it should be more, there should be passion. So if you've kind of lost that a little bit and actually go, I need to take some time away.
Yeah.
You've come back and now you're like, actually, no, I like to tour again. Also, because it's kind of your project as such, it is your band, essentially. You're kind of more in control of.
Yeah,
well, actually,
definitely.
We do want to do some tours, but it's on my terms.
Yeah, that is a bit. And everyone's got like, well, not everyone in the band, but 3 of us have got like a family things going on. And that changes things a lot. So when we first started with Kaiser Chiefs, you were like 20, 25 or something, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, not even girlfriends were like, you can't go. I was like, well, I've got to do something.
It's the rock and roll dream at 20.
Can't get a job.
Yeah. But it's because that's something that people never really think about. Because obviously you kind of just show up to a show, we'll go home tonight and I'll be at home.
Yeah.
And that's me done. Then tomorrow I wake up in my own bed. Whereas you think, oh, you guys, you're going to be at a hotel, then suddenly you're somewhere else, and you're actually home for a week or 2 weeks or something like that. Especially then, if you were to start touring around the world, it could be months before you get home.
Yeah, I look at someone like Guns N' Roses, and I remember that they just would, when they got started to get big, they went 2 years on the road, but before they left, they just sold the houses and like cancelled the rent on the flat and stuff, and just we're not coming back, and just left. With no home. It's amazing.
See,
that's how you do it. If you want to seriously break the world, you got to do it like Guns N' Roses.
I mean, that seems too much for me. Like, having no home is weird. Like, I like the fact that I can always, wherever I am in the world, I can go, well, we're going home tomorrow. Where if you've sold up, where am I going? We've got to tour now because...
Exactly, yeah.
We've got nothing else to live for.
Absolutely mad, isn't it?
So obviously, with Everyone's Head High, so there's that kind of now where you're at. We've got this tour. Obviously, we've got the album coming out in
January the 31st. Yeah, we're going to do some more gigs, more touring, and just see what happens. Really, I think it's going pretty well. I like how it's going. Like, I think it's just slowly building. It's making me feel good. Feel good.
Is that right pace as well for you?
I'd go faster at this point.
Okay, so now that it's kind of done, you're like, let's get it going.
Yeah, it's good though. It's good. I'm enjoying it.
Also, this is a nice little test though, because obviously this is before the album, so there's a few singles and things like that. So this is a nice little test. This tour, you said yesterday went well. Obviously tonight, I think will go well. Southampton always pull it out for every gig. Yeah, it's quite exciting. And so then in the new year when the album's out, then obviously that's the kind of the real big test. And you can then maybe try the road again.
Yeah.
If you want.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, we're looking at dates for like May or something. And then summer. It's amazing how quick the year goes by when you're in a band, because you just do it in these chunks and you go, oh, and now we're looking at next summer and then October next year.
Yeah, that's the weird thing as well, because obviously you have to plan that because when you start booking in festivals.
Well, headliners are booked like a year ahead, but I don't know really. Yeah, I think it'll be January maybe for smaller bands.
So it's a weird thing because we never think that far ahead, except I would like to go to that festival.
Yeah.
That's about as far as my mind goes. And then suddenly you're actually going, so we're playing that festival in 9 months' time. Yeah. Like, it's a strange world to live in.
It is.
But quite a fun.
I mean, it's fine though. This is totally fine, totally doable. I'm enjoying it. And it's completely manageable.
So whilst we've got this going on, obviously, the writing session with Harry Styles is to come very soon.
Yeah, it's cooking.
Let's get it going. Thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to it.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cool.